Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. I need you guys to smash that like button. Today we continue our FL Studio series right here, BusyWorksBeats.com/FL Studio. Today I'm going to show you how to make trap beats. If you don't know me, I'm Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. We train over 1 million producers around the world. Some have gone to work with Drake, Kanye West, Post Malone, Ariana Grande, French Montana, Young Thug, Polo G, Trippie Redd, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Glorilla. We have 3 Grammy winners now and multi-platinum plaque winners. Okay, so shout out to those guys. So I'm going to show you guys how to quickly create trap. Now let's, if you're ever lost in FL, go to View and go to Arrange Windows and then go to Realign. Okay, that will reset everything. And these 5 buttons basically help you navigate around the whole program. So let's make this one big. This is called the playlist. Okay, so let's start with the playlist. Let's go to our browser so we can find some sounds. Now before we even pick our trap sounds, actually, let's go to what's called the channel rack, which is where we load our sounds. Okay. In the channel rack on pattern mode up here, this is where we can create drum patterns that loop, over and over. These are basically just puzzle pieces that we're building. In song mode, this is where we arrange the puzzle pieces. Okay. So let's go to pattern mode first and let's click this plus button. We're going to open up a plugin called Poison in FL Studio. It's a stock plugin here called Poison. I already have it open. Let's go to the wrench tool. And I was messing around with some settings, so I want to show you guys that. So let's actually reopen Poison. Boom. Okay, so you have Poison open. We're going to go to where it says presets. We're going to go to default to reset everything. Should hear a basic saw patch. Okay, now that we have this, let's right click, go to piano roll, and let's start mapping out some music. Now, the main chord, you guys, 2 chords you're going to see in trap music is the minor chord and the suspended 2nd chord, or technically the suspended 4th chord. What does that even mean? So basically, if I close my eyes and I add a note, it doesn't matter where I am. This is considered the root note, the point of rest. We're going to call it 0 in this case. Every chord has a chord code. I teach these at busyworksbeats.com/premium in our music theory essentials. So for example, if I wanted to create the minor chord, it's 037. We're not talking about scale degrees. This is an integer notation process I call chord codes that I discovered when I was sound designing, but it's based on integer notation. So here we have 0. Let's count up our keyboard note by note. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So again, the chord code for a minor chord is 037. So 0 is where we start. Count up the keyboard note by note. 1, 2, 3. Add that note. And then 4, 5, 6, 7. Add that note. You always have a minor chord every single time, no matter where you are on the keyboard. Question is, how do you create a suspended 2nd chord? We're going to take this chord, and let me take this EQ off my voice. It makes me sound weird. Okay, we're going to take this chord and we're going to copy it, hit Control to highlight, and hit Shift, left click, drag over. We're going to take this middle note and drag it down. That's all you got to do. This is a minor chord. This is a suspended 2nd chord. The chord code for a suspended 2nd chord is 027. Very simple. Okay, now let's take these bottom notes and let's hit Shift to duplicate them, hit Control down, and let's do it again. Now let's say you repeat this, but it just sounds monotonous. So let's say I hit Control, highlight all this, hit Shift, drag it over. But it just sounds repetitive. What we can do is actually change the bass note, and that will make it feel like we have movement. Now in this case, we want the bass note to also match this root note. There's a very thick sound here, but it's because we didn't process the sound yet. So another way we can go down is 5 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hit Shift down. And then we can go down. Now we're really low, so let's pull this up an octave. So see how it feels like we're moving now instead of just playing over and over. Okay, now let's, add some sauce to the sound. Let's hit Control L. You guys will get the project file, so don't try to memorize everything. That will just make you confused. Let's go to Poison. We're going to go to the setting in the top left, the settings tab, go to the wrench tool. We're going to mess with what's called the arpeggio. And we're also going to turn on what's called portamento. This will create a pitch bend. If I turn off the arpeggio, you guys will hear it more. So it goes wee, wee, like that. If I exaggerate this, it'll do it slower. So So we're adding a pitch bend between notes with that portamento, and the arpeggio is going to basically play the same note up an octave. Okay, so we're going to set this timer to, in the top left here, we're going to put it on 4 steps. And you can set the range to 3. I'm going to turn the chord mode off, so it plays whatever you play, and it just jumps an octave. And then we can mess with the gate, got a little jump. Okay, now let's work on the sound itself. I don't expect you guys to understand sound design. I'm just going to sound design it for you. We're going to lower what's called the cutoff filter. And then we're going to add what's called a decay curvature to the amp envelope. So it's more of a jumpy sound. And add a little attack to the filter so it has more of a brassy tone. So again, I'm doing all this for you. You guys don't have to memorize all this. Let's add a little chorus. Now, if you want more detail, let's hit Control L, send it to the mixer. Here's the mixer here. This is where we add effects. Let's add the effect called Transporter. That one's really good for trap and future type sounds. All right, let's open up Transporter. And we're going to go to the tempo mode and turn these knobs up, reverse, shift, and this down up. Now I found that it tends to work better for like stuff like this. Like stuff that's a little more like din 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 din. For this, it's too jumpy and it just clouds up that. And we can mess with the timing. Now we got a better bounce. Let's mess with the spread. So see how we're getting a lot out of one sound? We don't need 1,000 sounds to do a lot. Next thing we're going to do is go to the mixer here. We're going to set up what's called a reverb. So let's right click, hit R to rename this. I spelled it E-verb, so let's add another R in that. Why is this doing this wrong? Reverb. Okay, now we're going to add the Fruity Convolver. You guys, actually let's do what's it called? Lux verb. Okay, because this has what's called a granulizer feedback. Let's turn this feedback on and turn up the gain for it. And we're going to turn the dry level down. Okay, so what we're going to do is go to this sound in the mixer and left click this up arrow to send a duplicate of this sound over to another channel where it has all the effect. And this adds a little bit of an extra grain sound. We can pull it up an octave. So that's the sound it's adding. That shimmery sound. It's very subtle, but it's adding like this shimmery sound. Another cool effect you guys can mess with is called hyper chorus. So let's open that up. Hyper chorus. Notice how we're not adding 1,000 notes to our melody. Let's turn down the LFO phase difference so it doesn't have a stereo feel to it. Turn down delay, feedback, and modulation. Actually, turn modulation up, turn the movement down. Now we have more of like a Travis Scott vibe on it. Let's go back to Transporter and just turn these levels down so they're not so loud. Now all we have to do to create variation is we could just copy this whole thing and just hit Control up so that we have 1 octave down and 1 octave up. Let's go back to song mode. Okay, we can always go back to that wrench tool and change the timing too. I feel like that octave is a little too bright, so let's pull this back down. is a cool idea, but it depends on you guys' melody. Okay, so now we have all this. We have to identify what do we actually have. We have rhythm, we have harmony, we have rhythm. So I'm trying to teach all the basics, but as I'm teaching this stuff, I'm realizing how much stuff you guys just got to go over at my training at busyworksbeats.com/premium. But there's a 4-component system I teach. It's top line, then you have the harmony section, you have the contrast section, and you have the rhythm section. So what we actually have is the contrast layer, the rhythm, and the harmony section all in one pattern so far. So the only thing technically missing is the top line. And technically we can consider the octave movement even a top line. So the top line is a memorable melody, usually occurring in 3s. Harmony is the glue to the track. This is usually your chords. The contrast layer is the bass on the track most of the time. It adds the density to your track. It's just different than the top line. And then you have the rhythm section, which adds timing to your track. So these are the 4 components that make up every song. So we pretty much have 3 of the components already. So really all we need is just rhythm, drums, and maybe a top line. Let's just turn the sound down a little bit. Let's go back to our channel rack. Let's add another plugin here. Let's go to Morphine's a good plugin, but let's use Toxic Biohazard. This is another, where's it at? Toxic Biohazard, another slept on plugin. Let's hit Control L. And we're gonna create a top line. In short, a top line is usually 1 octave higher than the highest notes. So here at A sharp, we're gonna go about to A6 and start the melody there. Let's go to a new pattern. Remember to hit Control L to send everything to the mixer. And let's go to Toxic Biohazard to pick a preset. Let's just start with a basic either keyboard or lead sound here. We don't need to be too complicated. That was hard. I like that. That was pretty dope. I did it. Just gonna record this with my keyboard. We're just playing B and then A. Oh, okay, I played the wrong note. So we're gonna play B and A sharp. All right, so B flat is the main key here. That was a syncopated note. We're gonna put it on the downbeat next time. All right, so it's not like the top line here doesn't move a lot. Okay, it's not like a typical top line that has like 1,000 notes in it. You got to know when to play fast notes versus not fast notes. All right, so we're gonna save this project file for you guys. And now let's load up some drums. Okay, so let's go to our browser here, this icon. Now I'm going to give you guys a project file so you don't have to sort for all these drums, but we just need a hi-hat, a snare, and a kick. Okay, so let's right click, open that up. Or an 808. Let's just use the Spins 808. Let's go to a new pattern. Let's highlight these sounds, hit Control L. If you don't see these sounds, click your channel rack. Go to the drop down, go to all, so you can see your sounds. All right, so for the hi-hats, I like to start off with the hi-hat because that is the metronome. So let's right click, fill each 2 steps. It keeps it very simple. Add that pattern to the playlist. Hit Control B to latch paste. I'm gonna add my snares on a separate channel here. Let's add these in the song. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the snares go on the 3 and the 7 during trap music. And the 6. And let's do a little 1, 2, clap, clap, 1, 2, clap. Okay. 1. Is that the other snare? Okay, so now we can just play our 808. Now I'm trying not to speak so much music theory, but that's the only way to communicate this. If you're looking for bass notes to play your root note. Okay, you could play another note, what's called the perfect fifth, which is 7 notes up from the root note. So root note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have D sharp, we have A sharp, turret. All right, and then you can play the octave, which is D sharp up an octave. Okay, and you can play what are called half steps above them, meaning D sharp and the note just above it. A sharp, the note above it. And then the octave higher. So those are good bass notes in general for, matching your music. And there's also a pattern called trecio, so it goes dom, boom, boom. Trecio is dom, dom, dom. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so that pattern, you'll hear this a lot. So let's record this in. Now during this, I played a little triplet. I think it's right around here. Or no, here it is, over here. So it goes dun, 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 like that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Can't tell if it's triplets or what. But we're going to change our snap to grid here to 1/3 beat. Hit Control Q to quantize it to the triplet. And you highlight the notes to quantize only those notes. So that's how you quantize triplets. Now he's got a level. All right, now I'm gonna be quick about this mix because I'm just showing you guys how quick you can make beats. Let's add Fruity Soft Clipper. Turn the threshold up. Let's add an EQ before that. Let's boost the levels into it. And now we can start turning stuff down. If I want to arrange this, I'm going to take out the bass. Okay, so let's copy this whole thing over. I like to take out my bass and surprise the listener, so let's take it out for about 8 bars or so. I like to take out the snares too in the beginning. So that's all you really need to make a trap beat. There's no need to overcomplicate it. The vocal and like extra little stuff you guys add to it will be your touch to it. You could add accents, expression layers, whatever you guys want. But this is the core of what makes trap, is that bounce, the rhythm, the components I showed you guys. So we're not going to overly complicate this beat. I'm just going to add one more plugin called Emphasizer, their new limiter here. That's simple, y'all. All right, if you want these project files for free, go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. I'll give you guys these project files for free. If you want to learn how to make beats like the pros, go to busyworksbeats.com/premium. All right, guys, peace.